The Sciforror Film Podcast.
I said a mouthful of coffee. Mouthful of coffee and my eyes watering.
Ready? Hello and welcome to the Sciforror Film Podcast. I am Andy Walker. Forgot what we were doing for a moment there. I'm Andy Walker, and I have with me, as always, my son Scott. Hello, Scott.
Hello there. How do you forget what we're doing? We do this every week.
I don't know. I just forget the words sometimes. I do it all the time. I go to say something and then another word pops into my head and I have to stop myself from saying it. It's like I was saying the other day. The other day I was saying I'll have to get the washing out of and I had to stop myself from saying freezer because what I meant was washing machine.
Yeah, I'm so glad I'm not the only one. I had a whole conversation with Amy the other day about this, about the fact that I ran. It's almost like the intrusive thought thing that something just pops into your head. Like I was sitting there saying about we had some shopping delivered, and I went, "Oh yeah, shopping's going to be delivered soon. Can you help me go and put it away in the cooker?"
I have had a weird thing going on.
Oh dear, only one.
No, this is somewhat bizarre, right? I've got to try and remember. For the last 3 months or so,
Yeah.
every day, at some point, not at the same time every day, I'm not doing the same thing every day, but at some point every day, completely unbidden and not connected to anything at all,
Yeah.
the name Martin Scorsese just pops into my head.
Do you know, this is really weird. I've had this not recently, but I had it a few months ago. That I had sort of the same thing, but not Martin Scorsese. It was even weirder.
Okay.
I had the name Mrs. Tiddlewinkle from Peter Rabbit and all that popped into my head. And the thing is, I only realised that it kept popping into my head when I started working it into sentences.
Okay.
Started working it into conversations. And it's only when someone went to me, "What on earth are you talking about?" And I went, "What?" And then when you just said Mrs. Tiddlewinkle, I went, I thought it was only in my head.
It's a weird thing. It's like sort of I was making a cup of coffee earlier. And I thought, spoon and coffee in there, put the kettle on, lid on the coffee, put it there, put the spoon down, Martin Scorsese. No idea why. It just suddenly appeared in my head. So there you go.
Maybe it's something you're trying to, like, I don't know, telepathically trying to get him to communicate with you. He's going to sit there one day and go, "I need to message this man called Andy Walker.
Because he's
I need to find him."
my head.
Yeah.
Weird.
Hearing this man say my name, I need to find out why.
Right. Okay. So let's get on with the show anyway. Thank you to everybody for joining us and all that kind of thing. This week again, 2 and 1. As per usual.
And half a dozen of the other.
Now, the first one of these is a film that we actually we had contact from the filmmaker.
I think going to say from the film then. The film content.
Writer and director of the film, who he said he would like us to watch the film and do a review of it. So,
does that mean we've got to be nice about it?
I hope he knows what he's let himself in for. No, we what we are is we are honest about it. Okay. So this is a film from 2023 and it is called Instant Life. It's on Slithery D Films. The writer-director is Eric Albert Brandstrom. Optical effects by Kevin B. Chatham, and creature design by Ghoulish Productions.
I want that name.
Yeah. The synopsis for this film is: a criminal gets more than he bargained for after robbing a magic shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like this. It's got the kind of look of a kind of 70s, early 80s sort of American TV cop show.
Mm.
The first thing that it reminded me of. And the thing that I like about it is the fact that the instant life in this is supposedly sea monkeys. Now, when I was a kid in the 70s, in all the Marvel comics, in the back of all the Marvel comics, there was normally 2 pages of adverts for things like glasses that give you X-ray vision and all this thing. And there were always adverts for sea monkeys in there.
Yeah.
And I always remember those. And I always remember thinking, what are they? I did later found out what they were, but it's sort of, but it just kind of took me back to that kind of
That mystery.
childhood sort of mystery. Yeah. Yeah. Don't know, I like the look and the feel of it, and I love the color effects and everything. And the creature in it is quite cool.
Mm.
Quite well done. I think it's not bad. It's well made. It made me smile. Maybe remember being a kid, and I quite enjoyed watching it.
God, it must be doing well if it made you remember what you liked doing as a kid. I'd say no. I agree with you. I did. There's factors of this that I really did like. I liked the film, the way that it was filmed, the effects they used to make it look like an older film.
Yeah,
Um, I think a little bit of the editing could have just been a little bit smoother, but it's not something that distracts away from the film. But yeah, there was a few comedy moments in it for me that sort of made me laugh and sort of try. But I like the aspect behind this because it's not very often that you see a lot of in a lot of horror films where it's something like this that's a killer. There's always experiments or there's
yeah.
mutations and stuff like. But the fact that it is basically a sea monkey,
Sea
and
monkey,
it's a very unique idea. I'll give them that. Um,
absolutely. Yeah,
it's very bizarre to watch. It is a bit hard to watch in places with the level of blood that seems to turn up. But
yeah,
I liked the guy's acting. I will admit was on point, especially with the whole looking of sort of concern when he's starting to hallucinate and things like that. But I liked it. It was a good film.
yeah. I thought it was it, and I know what you mean about some of the editing, but it's really weird. Is that in a way it kind of almost fits with the look of the film.
Yeah,
It's like watching an old like VHS video rather than
yeah.
a DVD or something. It's it's got that kind of look to it. I really like this. I'd like to see what they do, what else they've done actually, because
Oh,
definitely,
it's definitely. I think the way they've left this is it's a good way. Like it's one of the few films that we've seen that it's wrapped up enough to be end the film,
yeah,
but because of what happens, you can sort of almost do an anthology with it. So it's following that creature, and you can do
yeah,
different things with it, and I think it's a very good way of doing that to wrap up that story, but you could carry on with other things with it.
definitely agree with that. Yeah, I really like that. I'm glad they got in touch with us, and I'm really hope that they've done. Oh, I mean, that was this year, and I hope that they've done some more stuff, and I hope they carry on doing stuff because it's definitely looks good and it's got
Yeah.
a good feel to it. Okay. Our second film is called Dead End, and this is again from 2023. It's on the Dark Matters channel and through Dark Matters on YouTube. It's also Oriolo Films, I think, done it in conjunction with them. Writer and director is Jack Shillingford, and the co-writer and director of photography was Richard O'Hare. The cast: Stephen Blades and Miles Lucian Waters. The
Wow.
synopsis is: on a moonlit night, Tyler finds himself stood up on a drug deal and caught between a rock and a hairy place. Now, this is unusual in as much as we haven't done many werewolf ones. We've done 2 feature films. We haven't done many werewolf shorts.
Well, I would say that this is a rarity for me. It's a werewolf film that I genuinely enjoyed.
Yeah, I must admit, I quite like this. Well, consider I don't like werewolf films at all. It's
No,
pretty good.
it's well, the thing is, it's got the werewolf aspect in it, but it's not like over the top with a lot of it. Like a lot of films like this are like the films we've watched, or even so much that it's nothing to do with it. Like the werewolves of the Third Right film we watched. It was nothing really to do with werewolves.
Yeah,
Um, and there's a few other films we've watched that are either all in your face all the time or nothing to do with it. But I like this because it's not in your face and it's just sort of distinctive and the way that it wrapped up at the end, the
yeah.
reason why you see what's going on and what's happened. And I think it's a very, very good way of doing it. It's it's a very good way of doing it. I think it's just because of the fact that it's not over the top. Like I said,
Yeah.
it's very subtle, but enough emphasis on it to make it a decent film.
Yeah, and I mean I like the look of it because it's all light shot and it's either like around the car or in the car or that sort of
Yeah,
thing. It's quite it's well put together and well shot. And as you say, the end part of it, the wrapping up of it, where you kind of find out what the whole story is,
yeah,
it's really well done. But yeah, I like it. It's obviously a werewolf film without it being too much emphasis on what the werewolf looks like, how
oh,
they change, why they change, or anything like that.
yeah. I will say as well for especially for a short film,
Yeah.
the werewolf in this looks amazing. Whether or not
Oh
it's
yeah.
just computer graphics or what, but it
No, I
looked
think it looks
amazing.
really good. Yeah, the effects are really well done. The cinematography is really good.
Yeah,
And yeah, as you said, the effects. It's a well made film. It's one of the things I've noticed is the amount of these short films we do uh, that are incredibly well made and well put together and well edited.
yeah. So
Um,
they a lot of these short films we've done this season, especially, has definitely put a shame to a lot of feature films we've done.
oh yeah, yeah,
If the effort, the effort, the time, the effect, and everything they put into this, or put into a lot of these short films,
yeah,
trumps so much a lot of the feature films we want.
absolutely. I mean, it amazes me. It still amazes me just how much somebody can get into a short film on
Mm.
a low budget, and how good they can make it look.
Well, that's the thing. We've watched films, or I've watched films anyway, that have been hour and a half, 2 hours long, and I've come out at the end of it and gone, the story to that was just pointless.
Yeah,
But like these ones we've watched that are like 15, 10 minutes long, and it's told more of a story in 15, 20 minutes than some films do in 2 hours.
yeah, absolutely. And it's, I mean, the acting's good. The it's well written. It's well put together. I think it still amazes me, and it's all credit to them for
Mm.
people being able to make these short films
Yeah.
so good. Uh, and normally they're done in quite a short space of time as well, which is
Mm.
you know
And the thing that I'd say as well is the fact that for a lot of films that, especially short films, if I don't know, if it's not that good or you don't think it's that good, just keep trying. It's the only thing you can do is improve. You're never going
yeah,
to get
absolutely.
worse.
It just yeah. I mean, this one in particular, I just think the story works well.
Yeah,
It's well acted and well made, and it's got a good look to it, and
and
it works. It's
yeah, it works. And like you said, there's no over exaggeration or over the top of sort of explanation or anything with what's going on with the wolf or the reason why or anything. It's just enough
well,
subtlety in this.
I mean,
If that's a word.
as you were saying about the look of the werewolf, the thing is, I've seen werewolf films where the werewolves look more like sort of dogs that have been punched in the face, and other ones where you get somebody having a fight with a werewolf and it looks like they're rolling around on the floor with the carpet. It's it's
Yeah, no, I've seen films where it's blatant. It's just saying I've seen a lot of werewolf films where it's blatantly just someone gone a bit crazy with glue and hair.
yeah.
It just sort of it looks like someone's got themselves covered in glue and run through a hairdresser's.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so on to our feature film, which was one that you suggested.
Yes.
I knew nothing about this. I've never seen it before, and so didn't know what to expect from it.
Oh, I would say I've only before this I've only ever made it about halfway through because every time I've gone to watch it, something's gone on for me to go. "Oh, I need to stop it now and go and do this, and I've never got around to rewatching it. So
Okay, this is a film from 2015 called "He Never Died."
yep,
It was written and directed by Jason Kraukzich. Kraukzich. Krawczyk. Kraukzich. I don't know. Don't laugh at me. The cast for this film is the main character is played by Henry Rollins, who, of course, is a singer and stand-up comedian. He's done lots of films and TV stuff and all sorts of things. Who else have we got? Boo Boo Stewart, which is a brilliant name. Boo Boo Stewart, who's done lots of TV and films and was in the Twilight movies.
yes,
Probably best known for that. Kate Greenhouse has done a lot of TV stuff and other things like that. The other people we've got is Jordan to my brain and mouth are not connecting well. Jordan Tadozzi, David Richmond Peck, James Cade, Don Franks, Steve Ogg, Scott Edgecombe, Robert Thomas, Elias Ediraki, Tamara Almeida, Walter Alza, Scotty Cook, Carl Campbell, Blair Johannes, Aaron Tager, Craig Bernowski, try it again, Bernatowski, and Danny Lima. Don't laugh at me, I just saw you. Right, the synopsis for this film is Jack, a social outcast, is thrust out of his comfort zone when the outside world bangs on his door and he can't contain his violent past.
yeah.
Yes. So, it was your suggestion. What did you think?
Well, like I said, this is actually the first time I've made it the whole way through without something kicking off and me having to stop it. So
Right.
it was quite a nice. And now I like Henry Rollins. I think he's an amazing actor,
Yeah.
amazing comedian. I love his music, but it's very weird watching him because he I know he's a very straightforward and blunt person,
Yeah.
but watching him act as pretty much an emotionless man is very weird, especially seeing him in other things that I've seen him in. But I like this because it's sort of the whole. It doesn't really explain fully what's going on until really sort of the end, I suppose, if that makes sense. Like really, what's
It explains a little bit all the way through, and then you
yeah,
get
it's no
right
like
review.
big reveal, but it makes little points of it the whole way through, and until really sort of the last 20 minutes where it actually mentions everything.
Yeah.
I like the fact that I never realised as well. This is sort of a if he can class it as a sort of religious side of it with the whole
Yeah.
who things are. But I'm saying I like this. I like the fact that it sort of left me with a few more questions than there were to begin with.
Yeah.
The makeup, I would say, the makeup, visual effects, and prosthetics, and everything with that, I thought was amazingly done. I don't know. It's such a weird film. Like it's almost one of them films that you feel bad for saying you like it. It's
Well,
like it. for me, it's just sort of, it was a great film and I love watching it, but it feels almost wrong to sit there and praise it and say, yeah, it's an
Oh,
amazing film.
I don't know. I loved it, to be honest. I love watching it. I mean, Henry Rollins is excellent in this film. Um, the effects are great. The acting's brilliant. The story is, I think, is excellent. It's just fantastic ideas.
Mm.
It's weird. I almost want there to be a sequel, but it doesn't need it.
No,
There is another film which isn't actually a sequel, but seems to be based on the same idea, which is called She Never Died. It's got some good parts in it, but I watched that. I watched that as well, and it's nowhere near as good as this one.
no, I've seen parts of it. I've seen trailers and other people reacting to it and said that it's nowhere near as good. But it's
Um,
just, I think I love this film. It's just,
what I like about this is it's another one of these films that seems to have just the right amount of the right blend of just the right amount of blood and gore and the right amount of humour.
mm,
And added to that, there's some good, quite tense moments, quite sort of like atmospheric, tense moments, which
yeah.
you don't really expect from a film like this.
No, well, what I like about it is it's sort of a shock, really, with some of the blood and gore, because a lot of it they don't actually fully show. It's
Yeah,
all like it's all insinuated, and you hear what's gone on, and then all of a sudden it's sort of full on in your face, sort of mainly him being shot in the head. But
yeah,
it's just the fact that it jumps at it, but it's not that whole sudden shock of it. It's like I was expecting it to go that way, really.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I liked the way that it sort of gradually grew and grew and grew.
yeah.
And it's not
Well,
just
that's the
like
thing.
in your face all the time.
As he kind of loses more control over what he's doing, it kind of like the violence and the gore gets
Yeah.
it's. But I mean, there's some incredibly well choreographed and well put together fight sequences in this as well.
Mm.
Ones that work really, really well. Uh,
Yeah, I like some of the odd conversations as well that are happening because
yes,
it's sort of, especially the bit we're in the bar. I was sitting there looking, and I was like, it would be that whole thing. You see, like you hear gunshots and someone shooting, but no one's gone down, and no one. You would sit there and go, "What is just like you? What's gone
yeah.
on?"
What's going on?
And I love the
Because
fact that they had that conversation.
I also love the fact that she sees him be shot in the head, and then he goes out of the room. There's another gunshot. He comes back in with another hole in his head and a load of blood all over the thing, and she goes, "Again?"
Yeah,
It's just like, I
I love the fact that like the bit in the car after or the bit in the like the sort of scene in the diner is the fact the whole thing is like she's trying to wrap her head around it, and he's just talking like it's natural. She's like, just don't look at me
yeah,
because but it's just again that whole effect of him pulling the bullet out and doing what he does. I've got to admit, there were a couple of bits that sort of made me cringe, and it's not the bits that probably would do for a lot of other people.
mhm,
Um, mainly when he snaps the guy's ankle.
yeah,
I've broken my ankle and I know how much that hurts, and I've been there, not done what he's done, but I've broken my ankle, and I sat there and it was almost that sort of phantom pain as I watched it, and my whole body went, that hurts, and
yes.
it like proper tensed up. But it's good for a film to do that. The fact that you've got that sort of
Oh yeah.
fantasy stuff, but the realistic feels to it.
It sort of like it triggers memories and things.
Yeah.
I know. I thought that this film was absolutely great. I love it, and I'm quite happily sit and watch it again anytime.
Of,
It's
what,
for me. This is kind of like it's the same kind of feeling I had after we finished watching Midnight Meat Train. That one of kind of like that was a brilliant film.
yeah. What I liked about it is that for me, mainly, it was the shock of the twist of who he turns out to be.
Yeah,
Obviously, he wakes up and you see the scars that he's got, and you automatically make that assumption. And then when he goes sort of down the line and mentions who he is, I sat there like, yeah, of course, that makes so much more sense.
yeah.
But yeah, I do. I love. It's one of them films that I sat there at the end of it, and I was like, I was looking at the time, going, have I got time to watch it again?
I don't know if I'd want to watch it again straight away, but I could. I would quite. If somebody came round this weekend and said, what should we do? I'll say, oh, it's a film you can watch.
Yeah, as I say, I'll quite happily watch this. I think it's become one of my favourite films. I've said to Amy about the fact that I'm going to quite happily rewatch it so she can watch it, and I don't even think it's just because Henry Rollins is in it. I think it's because of the story
I
in
think
it.
the
He
story.
helps a lot.
I say the story's really good. I think the acting's good, and the way it's made is good. It works so well with
Yeah,
as I say, it's got the right amount of humour and violence and gore, and it just kind of all works.
I think the human side of it as well is very him.
Yeah.
It's dry and to the point,
Well,
and
I must admit, I watch a review channel on YouTube, which is called Dark Corners,
yeah,
and they did a review of this film. And one of the things that this guy who did the review on there said, which I watched after I'd watched the film, I thought, let's see what other people have said about it. And
yeah,
one of the things that he said was, he said it's almost like Henry Rollins was born to play this role.
yeah. It's exactly. I've got to admit, I did see his whole sense of humour and the way he is just fit this role so well.
Yeah,
And it's almost like he's not acting.
yeah,
He's just him.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. It's really, really good. I'm glad you suggested it because I really enjoyed watching it.
Yeah.
Okay, so there we go. We've got Instant Life, which is a good film, good short film, well made, interesting to watch, and I think anyone out there should watch it and give it a look.
Mm.
Dead End, which was a very good film, very good werewolf film, which is not something we say very often at all.
No.
And He Never Died, which was an excellent horror comedy with some
Comedy action film.
horror comedy action tense thriller
It's
gore
it,
slasher movie.
it ticks quite a lot of boxes, really.
It's got a bit of everything for everyone.
Yeah.
Uh, even some almost romance.
Whole family reconnection thing as well,
Yeah,
sort of.
good family film.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's where we are now. Next week next week we will be doing the same, but with 3 different films.
Yep.
And like that. Thank you very much for your input and insight.
Okay. Glad I could help. Offer some interesting films.
Yes. Thank you to anybody and everybody for watching, listening, feeling in Braille. If you want the Braille copy of this podcast, please don't bother writing to us because we've got no idea where it comes from. It just appears every now and again.
Yeah, we get sent it through into us in the post. We have no idea if it's true or not.
It just pops out of a portal, and there it is.
Pops out of a portal behind the fridge.
Well, hasn't everyone got a portal behind the fridge? I thought it came as fitted as a standard.
Yeah, in these new modern houses.
Yeah. Every new modern house has somewhere got a portal to hell, or to a parallel universe, whichever you know comes fitted as standard.
Oh, that sounds like quite a good idea for a film.
I think it may already have been done. I don't know. Anyway, so yes, thank you all for joining us. I didn't know you were coming apart. And please join us again. And if you like what we do, then like the video, subscribe to our channel, and flip your omelette.
Comment as well. Leave us ideas for other films. Leave us ideas for other films that you want us to review or look at.
Any short films, any feature films that you want us to review, give us a shout out.
Or even if you don't do them personally, but you know someone that does, pass on our videos to them and say, look, these people are mildly interesting.
We love reviewing independent short films, and we also, we were into repent. No, it wasn't into
Repent, goddamn you.
we need to review independent feature films as well. If you have any, but we are always willing to look at independent films because of the fact that that's the backbone of the cinema industry and everything.
Yes.
But we do, we do big budget ones as well. If you want us to give us an idea of ones that we haven't done that you might like us to do, that we might be able to do. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm going.
Say if there's a film out there that you go, do you know what, I really like this, I want someone else's opinion, let us know and we'll give you that opinion.
I have no idea what's going on.
No, neither do I.
Why did we start this?
It seemed like a good idea 3 years ago.
Seems like a good idea. This is season 4. You know that.
Oh no. Seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah. Eddie rode up. Next week we've got some sci-fi stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens then. Right. Thank you very much. And yes, thank you, Scott, and everything. And thank you to you out there, our listener, watcher, feeler, and everything.
Listener, watcher, and feeler.
Yeah. One of each.
Oh, I was going to say not all the same person.
Well, they might all be the same person. I don't know. I it's very hard to tell when nobody gets in touch with us. I'm badgering anyone. Badger.
Don't. Oh, that's a good point.
What?
Sorry, nothing. It's the other thing. I was going to send you a hat I found for you.
Okay.
Reminded me because you said badger.
It's the first time I've said badger in ages.
No, it's because I banned you from saying it because of the fact that's all you were saying at some point.
I got a badge of a badger.
You got a badger badge.
A badger badge. Yeah, I got a badger badge. Do you want to see it? No. Right. Anyway, so we will be back again next week with some more inane drivel started somewhere around and about talking about films. And until then, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. The Sciforror Film Podcast.